I'm Mabel Hayes, 71, widow of a sharecropper who died owing the seed store. Before the gossip sites dubbed me hillbilly matriarch, I was the woman who kept 3 generations fed on pride and pinto beans. Drop your zip code and slam subscribe, because the 36 hours after that slap turned a Hamptons vow renewal into a bloodline revolution nobody filmed coming.
Like, subscribe,
Bell on. More stories. More power. Every week. My man, Jonah, grew cotton on land the bank owned twice over. He had forearms like bridge cables and a laugh that rattled the kerosene lamp. Diabetes took him inch by inch. First his sight, then his legs, finally his fight. I buried him under a cedar we planted the day our daughter Ruth was born. The hospital lean arrived before the dirt settled. Our grandson Knox was 12. I swore the soil would not claim another Hayes. So I hustled. 4 a.m. at the cannery, snapping beans till my thumbs bled. Noon at the motel off I-40, stripping beds for tourists who left wet towels and single-dollar tips. Nights I sewed alterations for debutantes who never learned my name. My hands turned to jerky. I wrapped them in bread bags so Knox wouldn't see the cracks.
He saw anyway.
He was 14 the day I begged the community college for a payment plan on his coding boot camp. I wore the same black dress I'd buried Jonah in, only thing pressed. Dean Pritchard adjusted his glasses, like my desperation fogged them. Mrs. Hayes, education isn't charity. I swallowed gravel and signed his demeaning contract. Knox waited outside with my umbrella. Heard every syllable. That night, he pawned his grandfather's pocket watch, paid the fee, and never breathed a word until his first million. Something calcified in him that afternoon. Quiet, molten, unbreakable. He left for Stanford on a scholarship and a vow. Granny, one day you'll never lift another finger. First time he flew me west, I clutched a mason jar of sweet tea, like TSA might confiscate it. His Palo Alto loft had windows taller than our barn. Staff called me ma'am, like I'd break.
I dusted by sports anyway, idol felt like sin.
Then came Delilah Astor, trust fund thoroughbred, cheekbones filed by Swiss surgeons. She cooed over my authentic drawl, gifted me handbags that could pay off the family farm. At her brunches, I counted spoons like grenades. Once I buttered my scone with the fish knife. Her laugh floated like champagne bubbles. Mabel, darling, we're not at the Cracker Barrel. The table tittered. Knox squeezed my wrist under linen, but the splinter lodged deep. The vow renewal was staged in a Southampton barn. Reclaimed beams, Edison bulbs, florals that cost more than our first tractor. I wore the sage gown Knox picked. It swallowed me like borrowed Sunday best. I hovered near the raw bar, invisible among sequins and stemware. That's when I spotted the kid, 18, tops, balancing a pyramid of Prosecco flutes that outweighed him. Sweat beaded under his paper hat. One tremor from catastrophe. Farm instinct kicked in. Easy, sugar, let me anchor that. My grip steadied the tray. Crisis averted. Then my orthopedic shoe snagged the Berber runner. Time dilated. Crystals soared like lethal confetti. Delilah's bespoke lace absorbed a Jeroboam of Krug in one aristocratic tsunami. The slap landed before the last flute shattered. Her shriek. You illiterate field hand. This gown is one of one. Guests gasped. Phones rose like periscopes. Knox crossed the barn in 3 strides, linen jacket already off. He knelt, draped it over my shoulders like a battle flag. His palm on my elbow was the same grip that once pulled me from the irrigation ditch when I was 9. He stood. Microphone hot. Voice level enough to slice diamonds. Friends, the party's over. His stare pinned Delilah. My wife just assaulted my grandmother. The marriage dies with the toast. A caterer's phone caught every frame. Buy dessert. Hashtag Hamptons Hayseed trended globally. The carnage was swift. Delilah's Harper's Bazaar spread vanished. Couture houses ghost to her. Her hedge fund father couldn't buy back dignity. Knox wanted scorched earth, restraining orders, asset freezes. I begged mercy. Child, some debts are settled in shame, not subpoenas. We vanished to his Montana ranch, no cell service, just elk bugling and pine smoke. He attempted cornbread. It emerged a brick. We laughed till our ribs ached. Back in Silicon Valley, my hands still twitched. I found peace at St. Francis Outreach in Oakland, steam tables, metal trays, faces carved by life. I diced onions beside veterans and single moms, no one asking my net worth. One Thursday, the line parted. A woman in a faded denim jacket approached the counter. No tray, just hollow eyes. Delilah. Hair in a limp knot, cheekbones gaunt beneath drugstore foundation. Ms. Hayes. Mabel. Someone said you serve here. Her voice fractured like thin ice. I don't deserve the steam off your soup, but I had to say I'm sorry. I was vicious. I thought pedigree was oxygen. I was wrong. Tears carved clean paths through powdered cheeks that once launched lipsticks. I ladled chicken noodle thick with carrots, added a yeast roll still warm, walked around the counter, placed the bowl in her trembling hands. Regrets a start, honey. Living different, that's the apology that sticks.
Eat.
You're all elbows. She wept into the broth. I returned to my station, knuckles white around the ladle. That night on the rooftop garden, city lights flickering like a million lightning bugs, I studied the only photo I'd salvaged from Tennessee. Jonah and me outside the tobacco barn, his arm heavy with cured leaves, my belly swollen with Ruth. Lost in thought, Granny. Knox joined me, whiskey neat. I lifted my hands, veins like blue creeks, liver spots blooming like wildflowers. Once black with field mud, then raw from motel bleach. Now soft, finally. Just reckonin' these hands never coded algorithms. But they coded you, and that's legacy enough. He took them, pressed a kiss to each weathered knuckle. They coded everything worth a damn. We stayed till sunrise painted the skyline peach. He promised monthly trips home, no Gulfstream, just his Jeep and my chess pie. St. Francis named the new pantry after Jonah.
Delila Valentirs Tuesdays, sleeps roll, no selfies.
Some shifts we ladle side by side, silence louder than any headline. The world spun on. Knox's AI startup IPO'd. My face faded from feeds. But every harvest moon, he flies the outreach kids to Tennessee. Bonfires, creek waiting, my blackberry jam. If a cracked hand ever stitched your future, call them tonight. Tell them the scars were blueprints. Drop their name below. Let's salute the silent builders. Subscribe for more tales of love that outvalues any vault. Because in the end, the only fortune that endures is the one pressed palm to palm.